Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Alrighty, so I read a lot, obviously. This is what the channel is mainly about these days, is how much I read. I read almost every single day. I read like dozens of books a year. So far, it is only August, and I have read 55 books in total this year, which is a lot. That's a crazy amount for anyone. So I wanted to come on here and just make a video of like how I am able to read so much in a single year because I know that it is a topic of discussion with like some people who read and they're like, I want to read more. I don't really know how to. I would like some tips and tricks of like how to do it, or people who don't read but they would love to, but they don't really know how to start and like get in the habit of it, XYZ. So I figured that I would just kind of come on here and make a video about like how I am able to read like dozens upon dozens of books a year, and maybe like something here can help you if you want to read more. And yeah, just take it or leave it, have some tips or tricks of what I do. Okay, so I'm going to break this video down into three sections. We're going to do some tips for physical books. We're going to do some tips for audiobooks because, spoiler alert, yes, audiobooks are the key to reading so many books a year. They really, really are. And then we are going to do a little bonus section of where I get my books, in all honesty, for both physical and audio. But anyway, let's get right on into it. And if you enjoyed this video, then please give it a like, subscribe, and also comment your thoughts. Thank you. So starting off with physical books, the first tip that I have is trying to read a little bit like, before you go to bed or like right after you wake up in the morning, just for like a few minutes. However long you have, maybe you can only read for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something of the sort. Maybe like an hour before you go to bed. I don't know. Just something that makes sense with your schedule. I typically aim for like, maybe like a chapter or so before I go to bed. Now, I will admit that I have not been the best about this habit for a little bit. I've gotten a little bit out of the habit of it just because I'm working on some other stuff that typically takes up that amount of time. But I typically try to do this. I really, really do. And it really does help because even if you can just only get like, I don't know, like 5, 10 pages a night or so, or like 5, 10 pages a morning or so, it really does add up. And like after like a month or so, you can say like, oh, I'm finished. Yay, I got to the end of this thing, finally. And then, you move on to the next one. And it really is such a nice way to like, wind down for the evening, or like try to wake up in the morning and stuff like that. It really is nice to just like get away from a screen for a little bit and not get sucked into the habit of like, scrolling for hours and hours on Twitter or TikTok or Instagram or whatever. Use that time to be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to turn off the screen. I'm going to wind down. I'm going to let my brain relax before I get to bed, or I'm going to do something a little bit stimulating to wake myself up in the morning. And yeah, I'm just going to read a little bit. The next thing that I have on my list is, okay, so I go to a laundromat. Now, this will be applicable to all of you who don't do that. I go to a laundromat like every other weekend, to get my clothes washed and whatever. And when, the machines are like washing my clothes and drying my clothes, that's when I like go to the waiting area and like, pull out my book and start reading. And even though it's like, 20 minutes or so, 40 minutes or so or whatever, it really does add up. It really is just like a nice boost of like, hey, I got through like a chapter or three or so. It really, really is. Like, it really is just like a nice time to like, again, do something besides scrolling on your phone all the time. It is. Even if like you don't go to a laundromat, even if you do your clothes at home or something, if you have like a dedicated like chore day for your house or whatever, where like you can just like, do your chores around the house, and and like you have like a period of time where like, okay, the stuff's in the machine, dinner's cooking, I got like 15 minutes. I got like 15 minutes to just sit here on the couch and relax and whatever. You can use that time to read. You can. You can get through like, I don't know, like maybe like 5 pages, 10 pages, something like that. And it just adds up over time. It really, really does. Next, is okay. Personally, this is not going to be applicable for everybody, and I understand that. But for my people who work desk jobs, I work a desk job. Here is something to do. Okay, so like I said, like I work a desk job and there is quite a bit of downtime. Like I log in, I do my stuff, and then like I wait until they like give me more stuff to do or like it's time to move on to the next thing or whatever. If you have a desk job that's like that where you have like a lot of downtime or stuff, like if you work like a night shift or somewhere, if you're like a receptionist or something, and just something of the sort, and it's like very boring and you're like, oh my God, like I'm sitting here for hours, I'm sitting here for hours and there's really not a lot to do, like I'm so bored. Pull out a book, start reading, it it really does add up, but because like, girl, during the week I can get through like 50 to 100 pages, like that is a lot, truly. Anyway, like again, like I know that that's not going to be applicable for everybody because not everybody has a desk job, but for my girlies that do have a desk job, it's there. It's a tip. Next is commuting. Commuting. Now, me personally, I only read in the car when I'm like in the passenger seat. Obviously, because like it would not be safe to be like one hand on the steering wheel and one hand with a book. That's insane. That's insane. But like, when I'm the passenger in a car, yeah, I pull out my book and start reading. Why not? Why not? Why not? It's fun. And for all of you who take like a bus to work or like a train or something, like I don't know. All that kind of stuff. Use that time to read. Yeah, it's there. It's an option. It really is. Now, I just have to say on audiobooks, I know that there is some contention around them. I know some people don't like audiobooks, which is fair, which is valid, like okay, skip ahead into the video. Skip over this section of the video. Although I will say, if you are someone who does not read and you're trying to read, if you're someone who like spends like 3 years getting through one book and you're like, oh my God, like I so wish that I could be a reader. I really wish that I could read more. If you are in that position, I don't think you have the luxury of turning your nose up at audiobooks. I really don't. I think if you are someone who is not a reader but genuinely wants to be a reader and you just like don't really have the time at all in your day to like physically just sit down and read physically, I think if you genuinely want to be a reader, you will turn to audiobooks. Because like girl, even if you don't have the time in your day to read physically, you got the time in your day to read via audiobook, and we will get into reasons why. But like yeah, but like yeah, I will just say that. I will just say that. So like I don't know. Like I don't know. I'm just saying because like I hear a lot of people who don't read say that, "Oh my God, I want to be a reader." Or like, "Oh my God, I wish I could read more." And then they like turn their nose up at audiobooks and then like, and it's like, "Girl, boy, person, whoever, like, do you really want to read books? Like, or do you just want to have the aesthetic of a reader? Like, you know. Anyway, enough of my tangent. Let's get into some of my tricks for reading more via audiobooks. Now, the first one that I have is I do this pretty much every single night. I read audiobooks when I'm getting ready to go out. So like, when I'm in the bathroom, like, brushing my teeth, putting deodorant on, all this kind of stuff, I use that time to listen to an audiobook. I really do. Because like it really is a very nice and convenient time to like read an audiobook. It really is. Like, just when you are there, like you're not like you're already preoccupied and it's a mundane task that you do every single day of your life. Or at least you should. So like it doesn't take a lot of like brain power or whatever to a lot of like concentration to like focus on like brushing your teeth or whatever when you're starting to get ready to go out or like doing your makeup or whatever or whatever. So like just take that time to like pull up on your phone an audiobook and just start listening while you're just going through the motions of doing whatever, doing your basic hygiene stuff. It really is a nice time. Next is I read audiobooks when I'm doing chores around the house. So like for me personally, I will like go down to the mailbox and read and listen to an audiobook, or like more commonly I will like listen to an audiobook while I am feeding the animals and like cleaning out the litter boxes, or like cleaning up around the house, and just like putting things back in their places, or like folding the laundry, putting away laundry, stuff like that. Just like normal tasks and chores around the house. That's when I like to read audiobooks. I know a lot of people put on music and like dance around the house when they're like doing their chores, which is valid, of course. I love that. I do that sometimes too. But like, if you haven't considered it, try an audiobook during that time. Try an audiobook while you're like mopping or whatever. It really is a nice time. Or while you're in the kitchen cooking, if it's not too noisy. If it's not too noisy. I know. If I haven't said it already, most of this stuff probably is mostly applicable to people who do not have children, because I know kids are very noisy. They're very much a hassle. So like most of this stuff is probably not that applicable to people who have like young kids. I get that, and I apologize. I don't have young kids, so I don't know. I don't deal with children, so I don't know if any of this stuff is going to be applicable to people who have children. So I'm just saying, like, parents, I'm sorry. Anyway, so those are personally my ways that I manage to read a lot in a year. It really is. I know that this sounds very basic, and none of it sounds like revolutionary or whatever. But like, girl, like I said, like I've read 55 books this year, and it's only August. So like, the shit does work. It does add up. The pages do add up. The minutes do add up. So like, if there is something here, or a lot of somethings here that sound like, hey, I can implement this into my own life, try it. Give it a try. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, I'm sorry. But like, just try stuff. Like, you'll never know if stuff works or if it doesn't unless you try. Anyway, now, like I said, bonus section of this video, I do want to talk about where I personally get my books. Physically, audio, wherever. And I do recommend staying for this section because there are some things and some places on here that like a lot of people don't know about, which are very good. So yeah, let's talk about them. So physically, I honestly get my books physically in a lot of different ways. Now, obviously, everyone knows like, the major retailers, Walmart, Target, Barnes& and Noble, Books A Million, whatever. Like, everybody knows about those places. I personally don't really go for those places. I don't. The only time that I typically shop at like a major retailer is Barnes& and Noble for exclusive Barnes& and Noble edition. Like, the like Barnes& and Noble edition that comes with like a bonus chapter or like an author interview or something of the sort. That's the only time that to my knowledge that I can think of right now, where I like shop at a major retailer. It really is. Because there are some other great ways to get physical books. There really is. Number one, thrift books. Thrift books, y'all. If you don't know what thrift books is, I understand. I didn't know about this until last year, but it really is good. I just recently got like a whole haul from thrift books, and it really is good. It takes a minute for things to get here. Like shipping is not as fast as like, the major retailers, but like it's fine. It really is fine. But like, girl, the reason that I am really liking thrift books is because two reasons. One, older books, anywhere from like the last decade to even further back, older books, you can get those for like dirt cheap. Fucking cheap. Like $2, $3, $5, stuff like that. And they're in good condition. Even like the lowest condition that they have, because like on thrift books there are, you can pick like, the different condition that you want, because like, it's like thrifted books. It's like people selling their used books and whatever. But like you can pick like what condition you want the book in, from like brand new, very good, passable, stuff like that. And even like the lowest tier of like just, good, which is like, the lowest price tier of like $5, $3 for a book, whatever. Even those, like, they're very good. They're in very good condition. At least the one that I got. They really are. And even for like brand spanking new books, like, You can get them for cheaper on thrift books than you can at like the major retailers. Like I recently just got one. What was it? A Curse Carved in Bone by Danielle L. Jensen. It just came out in May. Like it literally just came out a few months ago. Barnes and Noble wanted like 32 fucking dollars for that book. And I was like, you're insane. You've lost it. Whereas on thrift books, which is where I got it from, it was $23. Girl, that's like a $9 difference. Like, oh my God. Like, hello? And especially in this economy, girl, you got to save money wherever you can. You really, really do. So like thrift books, good place to get physical books because those books can be very cheap, and even if they're not like dirt cheap, the newer ones can still be a lot cheaper than they are at major retailers. And also for getting physical books, don't sleep on Christmas, birthday, whatever, because like girl, that is a really good time to get books. Especially if you got people in your life who like say that like, oh, I don't know what to get you, I never know how to shop for you, blah 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 blah. You can just be like, hey, get me some books. Get me some books and get me some like this type of genre books. Get me some like this kind of like whatever kind of books. Or like like go on Goodreads and pick out a bunch of books that you like like 5 to 10 books and just like make a list and then like print out that list and then like hand it to someone who's trying to like shop a gift for you and just be like pick like something from this list. Like pick me out like one or two books, put two books from this like list of like 10 books. So that way like, how what I'm interested in, but it's still going to be a surprise at the end of the day. It's still going to be a nice little surprise at the end of the day because I'm not going to know exactly what I'm getting, but I know that I'm going to get something that I will like. So like yeah, like personally for the last couple years, basically all I've ever asked during like Christmas is just like get me some books. Just like get me some books. Here's a list of like a whole bunch of them. Pick stuff out and surprise me. Just like Anyway, now let's talk about audiobooks. How do I get audiobooks? This is going to be interesting. First of all, Spotify, which I know sounds crazy. Spotify's the music app, but like last year or the year before, I think it was last year. No, it might have been 2023. I don't know. But like in the last few years, Spotify has uploaded like a whole digital library to their system, basically, of like a whole bunch of audiobooks. And here's the thing. If you pay for Spotify, which is basically just how everyone uses Spotify, because like free Spotify is basically useless. But like if you pay for Spotify, if you get Spotify Premium, you get 15 hours a month of like audiobook listening time, which is actually a really decent amount. It's not going to like get you everything, obviously. And like some of their books are locked behind a paywall even after the premium subscription. But like there are like so freaking many. There's so freaking many audiobooks on Spotify included in the premium 15-hour a month listening time. There really really is. And you can listen to like at least one full book a month. Pretty much. Like at least one full book a month, you can pretty much listen to that and still have time left over. There are so many months where like I listened to an audiobook on Spotify and I'm still like, oh, I still have like 4 hours left of my time. I still have like 2 hours left of my time or whatever. And so like the way that I'll do it is when I have that, when I have, a couple hours left of audiobook listening time on Spotify, I will wait until like around like a week or so of my next billing date because the audiobook listening time refreshes on your billing date, not at the beginning of every single month, which I had to figure that out the hard way. So live and learn. But like on the week of my next billing date, I will pick something out and then start that and then run the rest of my audiobook listening time out. And then once my billing date hits and I'm charged again and my minutes refresh, then I will go back and finish the audiobook that I had just started. And then, repeat the process over and over again. And like it really is a good way to like get to like get audiobooks for free basically. I mean, it's not technically free because you are paying for Spotify, but like but like basically what I mean. To get audiobooks for free though, I got you covered. I got you covered because there are actually two major apps. And yes, this involves using the library. Because girl, listen, I didn't mention this in where to get books physically because we all know about the library. If you are not using the library, you should be. I mean like you should be in just in the manner of go get your library card. That's literally just what I mean. Like even if you never go to the library physically, like just go get your library card. You really should do that just for like the betterment of your community. Because girl, they need their funding. And the more people that have active library cards, the more likely libraries are to get funding. And libraries are a community service for a lot of people, even if you don't specifically use them yourself. So go get your library card. But anyway, if you want audiobooks for free, download the Libby and Hoopla apps. Truly, you need your library card. You just need a library card to sign up. That is literally it. You just need a library card. It is 100% free. There are like no ads, there's no subscription, there's no credit card information, nothing. Just get just get a library card, download the Libby and Hoopla apps, and you are good to go. Point blank. Period. And now let me talk about the distinctions between the Libby and Hoopla apps because they're very similar, but there are a little bit of distinction. Now, the Libby app, it is connected to your library's database. So whatever your library has digitally in terms of like audiobooks and ebooks that they specifically have, that is what the Libby book that is what the Libby app will carry. So like if your library does not have like a specific book in their system in their database that is available to check out, the Libby app will not carry it for you specifically. But like if you have like multiple library cards, you can just like change out which library's database you're looking through on the Libby app and just try and get more audiobooks that way. Now, moving right along onto the Hoopla app, the Hoopla app is very similar. You download the app, you put your library card, and then you get to browse their selection. Now, the Hoopla app is not connected directly to your library's database. It is actually a much more broader, like generalized database of like stuff. Now, with Hoopla, there are actually two types of checkouts. Whereas, on Libby, it's basically, okay, here's our list. And if there are more people than you who want to check this out, you will be put on a wait list to eventually check out the book. That's Libby. Whereas on Hoopla, there's actually two methods. Yes, there is the waitlist thing of like if you want to check out a specific book, but it's categorized as a waitlist book, and there are other people who want to check it out before you. You will be put on a waitlist and have to wait a little bit for it to become available. But on Hoopla, they also give you 5 monthly instant um checkouts where like that they have a lot of books where like there is no wait list. You can just check it out whenever you want regardless of how many other people are checking it out at the same time. You can do that up to 5 times a month for free on Hoopla, and you just never have to pay for anything. It's all just there for free. So I hope I'm making sense. I hope I'm making sense. I didn't really script this video out, but so I hope I'm making sense. And the final tip for getting audiobooks, I personally have not done this. I've heard that there are YouTube videos on, here on this site that we are on, where like it's people narrating, or like reading off of a book and just like recording themselves reading a book. So like I've personally never done that because I have like 5 billion other ways of getting books, just in all shapes and sizes. But like it's there. That's another free way of getting an audiobook essentially. Is like trying to like find it on YouTube. It's free. You have to put up with some ads because it's YouTube and YouTube has ads like every 20 seconds basically. But it's there. It's there. Anyway, that is it for this video. That is all of my tips and tricks for how I read and how I read so much physically, on audio, on everything, where I get my books from, for paid and for free, and all this sort of stuff. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts down below. And also comment down any other tips and tricks that you have for like how to read more, where to get books, stuff like that. So yeah, I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.